up yet. So, you are sacrificing your weekends. No rest. 7 days a week you have to work. For various reasons we have made life very complex. Please see page number 78. The second quote in the page. The difference between God and the devil is in nothing except in unselfishness and selfishness. The devil knows as much as God. He is as powerful as God. Only he has no holiness. That makes him a devil. Apply the same idea to the modern world. Excess of knowledge and power without holiness makes human beings devils. Very strong statement. Excess of knowledge and power without holiness makes human beings devils. So what we should be seeking is not wealth alone, not knowledge alone. Knowledge means only knowledge of the material world. But we need to have something else, something more, if we have to survive as a civilization. You just see our world today. We have discussed this already. There is a war going on in one part of the world. Excess money, the countries where they invest in accumulating war machinery, weapons. And after accumulating weapons, because you have become prosperous, you have so much of money, you invest in weapons, and now you consider yourself as a military power. And now once you become powerful, you want to dictate terms to other countries. And any country, if they don't listen to you, and you say that I will use my military might, and then you ignite wars, and the civilizations collapse. Okay? That's why spirituality is very, very important. Because this is the only creature on the planet Earth. For example, you look at an animal. Once its basic needs are satisfied, food is given, the animal doesn't disturb nature. Any animal for that matter, including lion. If it gets food for that day, it goes into its den and sleeps peacefully. For human beings, till actually food is available, that is, struggle is to make both ends meet. Okay? How to satisfy my hunger. Once that is satisfied, 100 problems will come. Where the human intelligence God has not defined. There are no two lines drawn like animals. And then the real problem comes. You want this, you want that, and then quarrels, fightings. You know, Narada, you all heard this name. Devarshi, greatest devotee of the Lord. One day he asked Krishna, what is Maya? Krishna said, Narada, I am very thirsty. Please fetch me a tumbler of water. Narada thought Krishna would be answering his question afterwards, after quenching his thirst. So he had gone in search of water. He goes to a nearby village. He knocks at a door. A pretty-looking woman opens the door. Love at first sight happened. But Narada, great gentleman he was, so he goes to her father and expresses his desire to marry her. Okay, he seeks her hand in marriage. The father looked at him from head to toe. Yeah, I have been looking for a good groom for my daughter. This guy appears to be, quite up to the mark. A handsome person, Narada, he was. So he agrees and Narada married the woman. Time rolled. Then they had 2 kids. Okay? And that village happens to be the village on the bank of a river. So that particular year, 12 years passed. The kids have grown up, they started going to school. 12 years passed. So that year, there was too much of rain in the catchment area. There was a huge flood in the river. So the river actually started carrying all the villages on its banks, and it inundated and flooded all the towns. This village, as it was on the immediate bank of the river, got completely washed away. So much of flood waters, swirling waters entered into the village. Everything got washed away. Narada and his family, his wife and 2 children also were getting washed away in the waters. Narada was a good swimmer. He tried to save his wife, he tried to save his children. He tried his best, but he couldn't save because the current was too strong. And then they got washed away. Narada, because he was a good swimmer, he tried his best, but with great difficulty, okay, he could come out of the river. He just washed away to a shore. And then he became exhausted and tired because he lost his wife and his 2 children. The entire village got washed away. Okay, not just his own family. And after a few minutes, as he was contemplating actually what all had happened, he was grieving over the incident, he heard a gentle voice. Krishna calls out to Narada, Narada, did I not send you half an hour back to fetch me a tumbler of water? What happened? Narada looked at Krishna. Half an hour? 12 years passed. You make out whatever you want to make out from the story. This is one of the best stories to explain Maya from our spiritual lore. Here the mystery of time is explained. In God there is no time. Time is only an instrument with which He created this world. Sometimes we wonder why this much of suffering for this long. Your time and God's time, our time and God's time, because He has no time. The timeless actually is playing with time. Time is just His tool. So that woman who opened the door actually is this nothing but this world. God is feeling thirsty. We have to quench His thirst. How do you do that? By remembering Him and by repeating His name. We had come into the world promising to God that we would quench His thirst. But we have forgotten the promise that we have made to God. What is that promise? You have to quench His thirst. How you will do that? You have to repeat God's name and you have to remember Him. Seeing this woman of this world, we have forgotten God. We have sunk deep into the Maya. And you have to come out of it and go back to our Maker God. That's the goal, that is the purpose of life. And then you need spirituality, holiness, everything else will come to you. But if you forget that and if you become a pure materialist, as you have forgotten God, and actually you have not kept the word that you have given to Him, suffering will be inevitable. And the suffering will continue till actually the Lord comes and asks Narada, what about my promise? What about the water that you have promised me to fetch, to get? Some of us are at the 6th year, some of us the 8th year, some of the 9th year of Maya is passing. Okay? After 12 years are over, you will get that call from God again. He will remind you, okay, about His water, that the promise that we are given to Him. So, 12 years, I don't know, for different people it will be different. Maybe some of the people are after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years going on for us. For some people maybe it's the 9th year or 10th year, but you will get the call from God. Okay? Thank you. Have a nice day.